My career, it has happened many, many times since when someone would intimidate me or scare me and take something that I believe was mine. Get between somebody and their paper. Taking a man's livelihood away from him is akin to killing him. Most would have to run the streets for years to learn a lesson that profound. It took me 2 seconds. Never get between somebody and their paper.
Yo, what's good, fam? DaveChappelle just slid in with some major tea, and he's calling out Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit like it's a straight-up setup. Buckle up, cause this is wild. So a few days ago, Shannon got hit with a lawsuit from this girl, Gabriella Zuniga, who's saying he allegedly mistreated her like multiple times. But Dave's out here saying this ain't just what it seems. He's dropping hints that Gabriella's got some big-time players behind her, people with a serious plan to shut down Club Shay Shay. If you didn't know, Shannon's been airing out some huge names on his podcast, and when you start exposing the big dogs, trust, they're gonna push back. Things get messy fast, and word on the street is Shannon might have been playing sneaky too, allegedly collecting secrets on these powerful folks while they're chilling on his show. If that's real, yo, karma's pulling up with no brakes. But don't sleep on Dave, he ain't just joking around this time. He's bringing the fire, ready to name names and spill all the tea. So what's the deal? Who did Shannon allegedly try to pressure? Cause Dave's making it sound like this is way bigger than one lawsuit. Let's break it down. When Club Shay Shay started popping off, Dave was one of the first to tell Shannon to chill with all that celeb drama. Hosting guests is cool, but Club Shay Shay, it turned into a whole vibe, dangerous vibes. Looks like Shannon's been coming for major stars, and we all know celebs hate getting called out, especially when it's another celeb doing the exposing. So let's rewind to when Katt Williams rolled through Club Shay Shay last year and dropped that iconic interview. Dave wasn't quiet about it. He straight up warned Shannon like, yo, you're playing with fire. Katt was wild, saying stuff like, I handled the ninjas, but I ain't say nothing about them white boys. Katt's always been real with his words, but this time he was side-eyeing Shannon for throwing shade at his own people. He was like, hurt people, but I'm hurt and I never hurt nobody. Shannon's out here doing it all the time. Katt didn't hold back, accusing Shannon of trying to tank other black comedians' careers. He even said, if I told my story, it'd break your heart. I lost everything and never snitched, but Shannon's acting like he's the king of morals. Katt was heated, asking, what part of the game is messing with another man's money? What part of the game is snitching on your own? Real talk, it wasn't hard to see why Katt was so mad. Celebs were getting tight with Shannon. It's one thing for fans to spread rumors, but when a celeb goes on air and starts blasting folks, that's a whole different level of smoke. When a star goes on another star's show just to throw shade, you gotta ask, where's the loyalty? If you've been keeping up, that Katt Williams episode wasn't just any episode, it flipped the script. It set the tone for 2024, and Hollywood's still shaking from it. That episode, over 80 million views, the most watched podcast interview on the platform, numbers don't lie. Fans were eating it up, but a ton of celebs were straight up upset, and that's when the heat started closing in on Shannon. Katt went in hard, no filter, and some folks weren't feeling it. They called him bitter, saying he was throwing shots cause his own career been rocky. The streets were buzzing, saying maybe Katt was just jealous. One of the first names Katt hit was Cedric the Entertainer, and he didn't play. Katt accused him of stealing jokes, called him out for not being original, and even said Cedric was a fraud leaning on ghostwriters or taking other comics' work. That's the kind of drama that doesn't just fade. Cedric clapped back on Instagram, calling it revisionist history. He was like, my career ain't about one joke. I've been in over 40 movies, my stand-up specials speak for themselves. He even reminded everyone he gave Katt a shot back in the day at the Gibson Amphitheater, then shut it down like, all that tough talk is corny. I'm a grown man, you do you, I got mine. But it wasn't just Cedric. Kevin Hart jumped in, going off on Katt across social media, calling him a full-blown clown who belongs in a circus. And honestly, you can't blame Kevin for swinging back. Katt had already thrown some harsh shade, saying Kevin's whole good guy brand, his mega success, it's all fake, smoke, and mirrors. But this beef wasn't new. Katt and Kevin been at it for years. Katt been saying he got blackballed for keeping it too real and not bowing to Hollywood's rule. He was like 15 years in Hollywood, and nobody remembers a sold-out Kevin Hart show or him getting a standing ovation. He had deals before he even got here. Katt even called Kevin a plant, like, who comes to LA and in their first year gets a sitcom and a movie like Soul Plane. That's when Kevin hit back on the keeping it 100.
I also take full responsibility for any and everything that I've done in the fucking business, good or bad. My frustration with Cat Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Cat was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You fucked off promo shoots. You fucked off your promo fucking trips that they had set up for you. Studios, which is why the studio stopped fucking with you.
Why was he at risk?
He chose drugs.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what? I gotta fix me, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna stand up for comedy.
Yeah, you didn't say nothing to Cat Williams when he did a 3-hour interview talking slow yesterday. You didn't put a shot clock on him.
Well, do you entertain the circus or do you watch it, Kurt? Which one do you do? What do you do? You watch it. You go, man, look at that lion riding the bike. That's what you say.
Kevin said Cat didn't get blackballed for being real. He was a risk cause he was tough to work with, bringing chaos everywhere. Kevin doubled down, calling Cat a clown again, no flinch. Shannon and Cat caught mad heat for that interview. They were getting dragged for weeks, not just by celebs, but fans, blogs, even rappers. One of the loudest was Third, who called Shannon out, saying, "You're aggressive with black folks, but when it's a white celeb like Skip Bayless, you're all quiet." He was like, "You showed Skip all this respect, but when a black person says something, you're loud and bold. Put your glasses back on, don't play with me." People were noticing Shannon's energy shifting, and by then, folks were already side-eyeing him for letting Cat stir the pot. Then Monique pulled up, and that's when it really popped off. Shannon was already on thin ice, and Monique came through nomming names Tyler Perry, Opera No Chill. That had people like, is this just a podcast or is Shannon out here on a mission? It started feeling like Shannon wasn't just interviewing folks. He was targeting the biggest black names in Hollywood, and it was getting personal. Monique said things went left when she refused to do free promo for Precious. She did her contract job done, but when she said no to extra press for free, the industry turned on her quick. Getting blackballed in Hollywood, that's a career ender. Once heavyweights like Opera and Tyler turn their backs, the whole game follows. Nobody wanted to touch Monique, not cause of her talent, but cause they were scared of getting cut off. Monique said Kevin Hart acted like he had her back, like he was her ride or die while everything was crashing. She believed him, but then boom, he ghosted her. No warning, no convo, just dipped like she didn't exist. Worse, Kevin didn't even cut her off himself, he sent other people to do it. Monique dropped a bomb, saying she's got audio of Kevin throwing her under the bus, cozying up to Tyler Perry just to level up. If that's true, that's cold.
The day I watched Skip Bayless lose himself with you. And that's what he did. He lost himself. And when I watched Skip Bayless say to you, "Put them goddamn glasses back on, boy." Now, I know he didn't say goddamn and boy, but that's what everybody heard. And I was waiting for you to snatch his ass across that table, baby, and give it to him.
In that interview,
I was like, Shannon, this is the perfect time. I don't condone violence.
Right.
I don't say be violent. But that day, I was in my feelings for 2 days. Me and my grandbaby could not watch you for 2 days. And my husband had to say, "Mama, let's talk about this. Look at Shannon Sharpe. He retired in 2004, but he could still get on that field and run touchdowns, tackles, everything."
With all this drama, no wonder Club Shay Shay ain't exactly a celeb favorite right now. Even DL Hewley called it messy, saying Shannon's helping guests push lies and twisted stories. He was like, endeavoring to keep things clean and engaging for teens, Club Shay Shay's getting messier than a gossip fest with a megaphone. DL said Monique's always on there venting or flexing, but piling on pounds like every workout comes with a snack. He even brought up how Monique got mad when his co-host played a Would You Rather game on his show, acting like it was a huge deal. But it gets wilder. Rumors are flying that Shannon's been holding secrets over celebs' heads with info from these podcast chats. Word is he cuts out the juiciest bits, keeps them in his back pocket, and uses them to pull strings. If that's legit, it explains why so many big names want him out of the game. And that lawsuit dropped at the perfect moment. It hit right before Shannon was about to announce a massive $100 million deal for Club Shay Shay. His deal with Colin Cowherd's The Volume Network had just wrapped, and he was lining up something huge. If someone wanted to sync his podcast, that was the time to move. Shannon's lawyer called it planned, timed, personal. The lawsuit's heavy. Gabriella Zuniga says Shannon controlled and pressured her, allegedly mistreated her multiple times between October 2024 and January 2025, ignoring her when she asked him to stop. She claims she was 19 when they started dating and he was 54. That age gap had folks shook. She also says he secretly recorded their private moments, sometimes without her knowing, and shared them with his crew. Her lawyer said Shannon's team offered $10 million to keep it hush, and Shannon's lawyer didn't deny it. So either he's in deep or he was ready to drop big bucks to save his name. Either way, the damage is real. Gabriella's got a heavy hitter lawyer, Tony Busby, who's been in big cases before. Busby said they tried to talk it out with Shannon, even went to mediation for 6 weeks. Shannon offered a hefty settlement, but Gabriella said no way and pushed forward with the lawsuit. Busby's like, they say it's nonsense, but they offered $10 million to keep her quiet. Now Shannon's team is playing tough, leaking spicy messages allegedly from Gabriella, like one saying, "I want you to get playful with me and take charge." The court of public opinion is going nuts. Gabriella's messages got people raising eyebrows with lines like, "I want $25,000 for each side, but only if you give me all your attention." Shannon's team says it was all mutual, fun role-playing stuff she asked for. They claim her secretly recorded video was edited to look bad, taken out of context. Shannon's denying all claims of pressure or wrongdoing, calling the mistreatment accusations a flat-out lie and refusing to be pushed around by what he calls a money grab. Both sides are dropping messages, throwing haymakers. Busby says Shannon's leaked texts were from before the alleged mistreatment, just a distraction. He dropped his own message where Gabriella allegedly wrote, "I cried when you left cause I begged you to be careful and not go too far and you didn't listen." One side says it was all agreed, the other says she begged him to stop and got ignored. It's a total mess and the public's stuck trying to figure out who's keeping it real. Shannon's rep is on the ropes with that $100 million deal hanging in the balance. Brands are watching, networks are staying quiet, and every move is under a spotlight. Gabriella's team says this ain't just about her, it's about power, control, and speaking out against a big name. Busby's promising more proof, so this storm's nowhere near done. Some fans online are questioning both sides, pointing out weird gaps or perfect timing. Some are still backing Shannon, others are bouncing. The media's loving it, spinning every angle. Every leaked message, every statement, it's more than a lawsuit, it's a full-on circus. What's next? Court, more names dragged in, a quiet deal? One thing's for sure, this ain't over. Gabriella reportedly told Shannon, no means no, and he allegedly just asked to call her later. Busby dropped an audio clip of Shannon sounding icy, saying he'd get rough if she didn't chill, his tone super cold, like, anything I say, you're just gonna get mad and cut me off. Another clip had Shannon allegedly talking about a big guy taking charge of a smaller person, and Busby called it unsettling, intense, dangerous. This whole thing is pure chaos, and with DaveChappelle saying it might be a takedown, it hits different. A $100 million platform exposing powerful people, that's trouble if you've got secrets. Drop your thoughts on Dave's take, and when you're ready for more, tap that next video. You don't want to miss it.